What up, what up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm J, and we are locked in. This is episode 3 of Jupiter's Legacy. We left off with Sheldon in the hospital. He woke up. He said he's seen the island. He's seen that he needs to go out here, and he's hearing his father get the crew together and get on out there. So now we need to figure out what's on this island and how are we going to get there. But before we get into all that, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of this, hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit the like button. We on that road to 6,000 subscribers. Now, we all know Brandon he's hurt from everything that happened, but we got to get through it, because one thing, we're all going to experience pain in life, but it's how we get through it and get to the other side. So that's enough for me. Let's jump into it. This is episode 3, the recap. We start the episode off and we got a news broadcast coming across, and it's saying this is almost the 40th year anniversary of Sky Fox, aka George. You remember the guy playing the cards on the bed? Sheldon's best friend. 40-year anniversary of when he left the Union. Sky Fox went off and did his own thing. Now, the Union is where all of the utopias they work at. So it's like the Justice League. But this is where they come together in the Union. Sky Fox left 40 years ago. We get introduced to Hutch. Now, Hutch is the son of Sky Fox. Now, he has a little crew. And it seems like they may not be all the way villains, but they're just a little crew doing a little heist, trying to make some money on the side. Because, we all got to eat. We all got to survive. And they hear the broadcast, and one of his homies is like, man, they're talking about your dad on the radio. How come we're not helping you with this heist? Are you going to go solo and leave us and start taking all the money? And he's like, nah, I'm not going to do that to y'all. Y'all my people. This little wind here is the reason why Hutch says he's going to do this heist by himself, because they work for a guy named the Big Man, and he doesn't want any evidence or anything that's going to lead back to him. So this wind right here is going to work some wonders for us. We see 2 gentlemen with masks on, and they're putting this briefcase in the back of this van. Also, we have Hutch over here watching it. Now, he does have this wand in his hand. Now, if you pay attention, this wand can teleport him to different places. When he talks into this wand, he gives a location in the wand to teleport him there. So we seen they put the briefcase in the back of the van. What does he say? Back of the van. And he teleports to the back of the van. As soon as he gets in the back of the van, he sees the briefcase, but there's still a guard on here. He didn't know that there was a third guard. The guard says, hey, we got somebody on here. What does he say? Safe place, to the wand. And we see him teleport up out of there. He teleports to a safe place and gets out of there. And who lands? The Utopian. Now, he must have heard there was some action going down on these docks, so he came here to clean up. And that gives Hutch just the right amount of time to teleport back into the van. While they out there fighting, we got to get this briefcase up out of here somehow in some way. Epic fail. They in there shooting. The briefcase ended up getting shot up. He getting shot at, so he had to get up out of there. And he teleports back to the loft. And shoot, man, when you almost put your life on the line, he grabs a beer and sits on down in the recliner. Because, man, it was a long, unsuccessful night. We see George getting dressed, so the stock market is crashing, but for him, he don't care. We got money over here, putting the cufflinks on, put the H on the ring, gotta pick out the nice watch. We gotta get ready to go eat breakfast. Forget what they talking about. We got money. Just to show you how rich he is and the kind of things that George does with his money, every morning for breakfast, he has 99 eggs boiled at different temperatures and for different lengths, and then he chooses which one he wants. Today I want egg 72. Walt and Grace, they show up and they're talking to George like, hey, George, Sheldon isn't right. You're his best friend. Seeing him that would actually probably help him get better. And he's like, well, he snapped out or whatever it was at the funeral. They're like, nah, he hasn't slept in days. He hasn't ate. Maybe if you show up and come talk to him as his friend, he'll snap out of whatever he's in. And George is like, all right, I could probably come do that, but geez Louise, I'm trying to have breakfast here. We know Hutch's crew, they didn't get the briefcase like they were supposed to. So they're having beer, they're taking shots because, hey, that's the only way you cope with taking the L. You got to drink it off. But he's saying, hey, guys, don't worry about it. When the big man hits us up, this is all on me. You guys didn't have anything to do with it. I'll figure out what needs to be done to correct this. Now, his boy is like, man, let's just hit the road and do like we normally do. Do some small heists, make some money, and let's just keep it moving. Because if not, the big man either going to get on us or the union's going to get on us. So it's a lose-lose unless we go out here and try to win on our own. Hutch gets a call and it's personal. So he's like, hey, I'll be back. Don't do anything stupid, you 3. Hutch has a phone call and this guy on the other line means business. Listen, You ain't got my money. And Hutch is trying to say, get me to the end of the week. He's like, nah, you ain't got that kind of time. He's like, listen, Nazi, I'll get you your money. And the guy says, you know what? You're going to owe me an extra 10% with that Nazi line, but you better have my money. So Hutch, he's into something, but we don't know exactly what he's into. Two of big man security guards come up on Hutch and it's like, hey, it's a tough night, huh? And Hutch, he's looking at it like, oh man, here we go. But while they're talking to him, he's like, you know what? Forget all that. Grabs the wine, puts it up to his head and says to the big man, he about to go talk directly to the big man. I'm not going to no security guards, none of that. Let's just go talk to the man and figure out what we gonna do to make something happen, because I'm tired of all this. George actually does show up to see his boy Sheldon like he said he would. When he gets there, you can hear Sheldon in the room screaming. Arr, arr. He opens up the door, and I'm talking about he looks like a junkie. He got a cigarette, hair ain't been combed, got a robe on. Ain't no telling when's the last time he took a bath. But he opens up the door. Georgie. You come in, you see the room is all torn up. There's no lights on except for the light by the desk where there's paperwork that he's been writing on. And then you got a fireplace. There's junk all on the floor. I know George is looking around like, this stinks in here. What the hell is wrong with Sheldon? Sheldon is still seeing things. You see his father behind George and he's looking. He's like, hey, stop it. And George like, stop what? I didn't do anything. Sheldon has a lot on his mind. He got that damn cigarette hanging out of his mouth and he's telling George, look, I can't talk anymore. I got to get back to work. But we don't know exactly what he's working on at this moment. You just see a whole bunch of lines on paper. So you know George is in there like, man, I'm confused on what's going on here. While Sheldon is there writing and stuff, you hear his dad talking about don't trust him. He's just here for the spectacle. Now, what we do know is we heard the report that 40 years ago, George left the Union. But you remember that was in the present day. This is in 29. So that means George left after this. So whatever the dad is saying is going to fall in line after this moment. So that's interesting to know. George finally gets him to sit down and he's actually talking to him about the situation. He's trying to explain to him that you're just grieving, man, and we all grieve. But Sheldon asks him, how did you grieve and get by with your parents? And he pretty much tells him, well, when my parents, what happened to them, I just looked at it and I just kept moving forward because it's always going to happen. Someone's always going to leave your life at some point, but you just got to move past it. George gives us a little detail on his parents. With his mother, he didn't see her pass because she had a flu or a fever and she locked the door and didn't let him come in to see her because she didn't want him to catch that. With his dad left and ended up having a heart attack. So he said at least with Sheldon, you got to see your father before it happened. With my parents, I didn't get to. That's why I moved past it. But he always said he looked at Walt and Sheldon and wondered if his parents would have lasted a little longer, how life would have been. Sheldon ends up passing out. So at least George was there with him and actually talked him through what was going on. But he gets up and goes and looks at the drawings. He's like, what is all this? So he starts to collect it because he wants to figure out what this is and probably be able to help Sheldon out with whatever he's trying to draw or put together. We finally get to see who the big man is. And when they say big man, he's a big man. And he's looking for his quantum modular. So where's it at, Hutch? I'm waiting. I don't know what powers big man has, but his face is all lighting up. So it looks like lava on the inside of him. But he tells Hutch, listen, the Gulagov brothers, they're delivering a briefcase tomorrow. You're going to go get that. That's how you going to make up for all this money and everything you owe me. You're going to get this briefcase for me. Oh, and also get a haircut. You look silly. He is rocking that mohawk. Big man don't like that. Cut that off. Hutch gets back to the loft and the girls are doing girl things, you know what I'm saying? Little girl on girl, but that's neither here or there because we got a mission. We got to get this briefcase from the Gulagon brothers, ladies. And they're like, the Russians? He's like, yeah, the big man reached out and that's how we're going to fix all of our problems. We got to get that briefcase, but yeah, we got to get it tomorrow night. And they're like, is Jack in? Because we're gonna need Jack's van in order for all four of us to be able to go get this. And Hutch is like, yeah, Jack's in. We'll get Jack. Now Jack, he's like, the Gulagar brothers. Oh hell no, that's just a no-go for me. But what Hutch does is a little bit of reverse psychology. He says, yeah, the girls, they say we need you, man. Without you, none of this can happen. Pretty much hyping Jack up to make him believe that, oh, the girls really need me. Okay, cool. But they really want the van. They don't really want Jack. We just need the van and then just happen to be Jack's. So Hutch convinced him, hey, we need your help, brother. The last thing we see Hutch tell him is, oh, this is going to be easy. And then the next thing we go to, Jack is in the van screaming because he done got shot up. It wasn't that easy. These Gulagar brothers were not playing around with Jack. I don't even know why he went in. I'd be like, look, I got the van. I'm the getaway driver. They sent Jack in and he got shot. Now, these two brothers, they on some other stuff because they running chasing after a van. Not only are they chasing after the van, one of them jumps up in the air and got some kind of ball and he charged up and he threw it at the damn van. These dudes ain't nothing to play with. This is not going to be a simple grab and go. This is a grab and we got to go save our damn lives. While they're driving, they're getting ready to hit a dead end and they're like, what are we going to do? And you hear Jack in the back, hey, turn the windshield wipers on, hit the lighter 3 times. And then all of a sudden the van starts to light up. You got what appears to be Zeus on the side. Eyes light up, his wine lights up, and this van just goes in through a wall, like just teleports through a wall, drives through it clean. And of course, these two Russian brothers can't do nothing. So all they doing is hitting the wall like, damn, they done got away with our briefcase. Guess who we see in the street? She's on the cell phone just kicking it. La-di-dee, la-di-da, it's Miss Chloe. She's on her cell phone. Now they hit Chloe. Her cell phone flies off. And she stopped the whole van because you know she got that strength. You know who her dad is. Y'all better act like y'all know. Jack is on the ground because he's shot up, but he looks and he sees his utopian daughter. It's the utopian's daughter. So what does he do? He gets his little ice power. He throws at her and knocks her down. And the rest of the people get out the van like, what the hell is going on, man? One of the girls got a little force field thing, but it's super weak. It's like Jubilee off of X-Men. So she's shooting it, and all it's doing is holding Chloe back. And the other girl jumps in the air, and she jumps down and punches Chloe in the face. But then Chloe sends her into the atmosphere. I'm talking about uppercuts her ass so far about the screen. The other girl's like, oh my goodness. She got to jump about the sky and go get her. Chloe got rid of 3 of them, and who's left? Hutch. She runs over. And she looks at him like, I know you. He runs over, grabs his little stick, Idaho, because he's trying to get the hell up out of here because he know he ain't got no skills. He ain't got no powers. The only thing he got is that little magic wand. George being George, rich as hell. He took all these papers from Sheldon and he just had a little formal dining area, just piecing stuff together. Not even being secretive about it, just looking at the stuff. Then all of a sudden we have one of these lovely ladies come and sit down with him. Oh, Georgie, everybody knows Georgie, rich kid, you know, doing his thing. But the newspaper comes over. Hey, Georgie, give us a pose for the newspaper. Georgie like, shoot, I got one. They take a picture of Georgie. We know that's going to nip him in the butt later. George comes back over to talk to Sheldon. He's talking to him and Sheldon's like, hey, you're right. My Gracie is right for thanking you. I'm going to thank you too for actually coming to talk to me. Now, George brings up, hey, those papers that you had, I borrowed a few and I actually put together like something. I made something out of it. So Sheldon's like, you actually have that? Throw that stuff away. He's like, nah, look at this, man. I made something out of this. And this right here, it starts to trigger something in Sheldon's mind. Like, uh-oh, wait a minute. I know what that is. Sheldon sees what looks like a windmill on there. He starts to trip out again. He sees his dad and his dad like, oh, it's too late for that. His nose starts bleeding. He falls on the ground. And just like what happened at the funeral, he's on the ground shaking. He's starting to have these flashbacks. You start seeing like superheroes walking around. You see the windmill that he drew on a piece of paper. So all of it's starting to connect. All he had to do is look at that paper. Thanks to George for putting it together for him, he starts, I seen that windmill somewhere, and it's all popping up in his mind now. George goes over there and calls the operator like, hey, man, I need the police in here. And all you hear in the background is Sheldon, I have to find this. By the time George looks over there, Sheldon then got up and left the building. He done took the damn windmill. He gone. He about to go figure out what is on this paper. Why am I having all these flashbacks and dreams in my head? Walt's looking out for his brother, and he thinks that Sheldon is going crazy because everything that's happened. So he's like, why did you show him that paper and tell him that you seen something in it? Now he done lost his mind and we don't know where my brother is. But Walt also calls George out. George, you're walking around in all these nice suits and you thinking everything's flowers and sunshine. But I know about Wingate. You're actually broke. You don't have any money. The stock market crashed on you. So when has anything for the truth been something for you? But he doesn't understand that George is the only one that sees what Sheldon sees. He's like, man, I'm trying to help him see what's on these papers because there is something there. Now the two bodyguards for Big Man shows up at Hutch, and he's in here icing his face down, just drinking a little bit. Cause I told you guys earlier, when you taking L's, the best way to get over an L is to, take a couple of shots, a beer to, have a good time. But they came in here like, hey, you failed again. What's up? And he's like, man, it was Utopian's daughter, man. She whooped on us. There wasn't nothing we could do about that. They're telling Hutch, we don't care what happened. If you had the briefcase, go get the briefcase back. He's like, man, dog, that's Utopian's daughter, man. Chloe, we can't, she's too nice. We can't get it. But one of the guards has like an octopus thing come out of his hand. He picks up the wand and he's holding it, like, use your wand. Then all you hear Hutch say is, shark infested water. And it teleports him to some shark infested water. The other guard's like, what did you just do? And Hutch said, you heard me, shark infested waters. Now the thing about this wand is, it doesn't matter where it's at. It only pays attention and takes commands from Hutch. So no matter where he's at, he can say shark infested water and it teleported that man there and he brought it back. And guess what he does next? He holds the wand up and says, big man's heart. Then he says home. You see the wand is all bloody and stuff because no matter where he's at, he can send it anywhere. He knows the big man, so he sent it and it ripped through his heart. He killed the big man. Now he got his wand. Now the other security guard's like, hey, yo, chill. I was just playing around, just doing what big man ordered. So this wand is actually more powerful than what people believe it to be. Before the last security guard left, Hutch is saying, hey, I need a favor from you. Consider it in advance. So he ends up getting some money from the security guard because he has to go pay this other man. Now, you remember he got a phone call and he said he had 10% on top of it. It wasn't the big man. It was to this gentleman here. Now, this guy has another piece of equipment built and he's saying, hey, there's enough power in this to power a small city. So be careful with it. Hutch like, is it going to work? He said, well, I built it. So more than likely it'll work. I'm not too sure. I haven't used it. But whatever Hutch has is very, very powerful. And we already know Hutch has a powerful wand. So this right here that can power a mini city, oh man, is up to no good. Everything ain't roses and sunshine. Now look at George. Wingate lost all his money. They said they'll give him an adequate amount of time to move up out of here. Why would you be living in this big ass castle anyway? But he ain't got no money. All of his staff is gone. And his butler said, man, I took the average over all your eggs that you picked over the last year, and 58 is your best one. So George is looking at it like, damn, the sweet life is over with. People, you got to save some money. Don't live outside your means, people. Once again, make sure you save your money, people, because it's lonely by yourself. It's lonely by yourself, and you'll end up like George, eating one egg. One boiled egg is all you got on your budget. Hutch went back home and he's starting to build something, and this place is locked down. He has it in a big old vault. It's a lot of electronics in here and a lot of technology, and he's building things. So whatever this is top secret. Then you hear him say, we're almost there, Pops. We're almost there. Because Hutch is Sky Fox's son. So it's either he's building a time machine or he's doing something to get his dad from wherever he is. But Sky Fox is coming. All right, there you guys go. Episode 3. What do you guys think about Hutch? I think he's not that bad of a kid. He's just doing some things to help his dad out, making sure his crew is straight. I mean, they did get whooped on by Chloe, but other than that, he's a cool little kid, man. You can't knock him. But let me know what y'all think. I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We're on the road to 6,000 subscribers. Be here for episode 4. I'm out.
Jimmy on the beat, boy.